Hello friends, welcome back. In this video, I am going to show you how we can add animations to iPython charts using ipyvizzu. It's a pretty amazing library and we just need to install a couple of libraries to add the animations to our iPython charts. These two libraries are one ipyvizzu and one more is notebooks modules. These two libraries are required for adding animations. So let's get started. So you can see here I'm using Kaggle's Jupyter notebooks. And in the first cell, I have already installed these two packages, ipyvizzu and notebooks. And now I am going to use this music albums data for plotting the charts. And to that chart, I'm going to add the animation. So you can see, you can look at the data frame here. So it has genres, kinds of the music, and the popularity of that music album. Okay. So we can keep this aside. And now the first thing first is we need to import a couple of classes from ipyvizzu. So for that, let's do this ipyvizzu and import. I want to import chart first, and then we need to import config and data. These are the three classes that we need to import. After importing these three classes, first we need to create a chart object. So chart object. Okay. So to this chart object, to this chart is ready now. To this chart, I wanted to add a title. So for adding a title, there are two ways to add a title. One is we can define a variable separately like this one. And for this, we need to use config class. And for this one, we need to pass the title that we want to add. Like this is my first ipyvizzu chart. Okay, so the title object is ready. Now we need to add this title. So for that, we need to use animate method. Now, if you run this one, you should be able to see the title. Perfect, right? So we have a chart object and we have added a title to this one. Now let's do one thing. Let's add the data to this chart. So before adding the data, we need to create a data object, which we have already imported from ipyvizzu here. Okay. And to this data object, we need to bind the data frame that we have defined in our previous cell here, which is the albums data here. Okay. So for that, we need to do data dot add data frame. Okay. Yeah, add data frame. To this one, we need to pass that pandas data frame object. Okay. So this way, we have binded the data. Okay. We have binded the data to this data object here. Now we need to add this one to the chart. So for that, we just need to use animate again. And now if you run it, you won't see any output because we did not draw, we did not plot anything here. So now what I will do is as a first step, okay, on the x-axis, okay, I'm going to draw a bar chart. On the x-axis, I will display the genre of the songs, okay, and on the y-axis, I will show the popularity of it. So you can look at this data frame if you want. So we have popularity, kinds, and the genre. Okay. So let's do that. So for that, what we need to do is chart dot animate, and to this animate, we need to pass the config object, and within this config object, we need to define a key called channels. Okay. Inside that, now we need to pass what the values that we want to pass. For y-axis, what I want to have, okay, for y, I want to set the popularity. Perfect, right? And similarly, on the x-axis, okay, on the x-axis, I want to set the genre. That's pretty much I wanted to do as a first step. Let's plot this one and see how it looks like. See here, we got the genres on the x-axis and the popularity. So for pop, we have something like around 300 popularity. For rock, it's more than 200, something like that. This is a first bar chart, you can say. So we get to see the animations when we transform this chart into something else. Okay, that is when the actual magic happens. And now let's do one thing. As a second step, what I will do is I will transform this chart into a different one. So for that one, what I will do is on the y-axis, what I will show is I will show the popularity and the genre both. Okay. And on the y-axis, I mean on the x-axis, I won't show anything. X-axis will be none. Okay, so I already have defined this somewhere else. I will just paste this here. See, okay, same object here. So channels. Okay, for y, what I'm setting is popularity and then general. We just need to pass the list here. If it is a single type, we can directly mention that. If you have more than one column that you want to mention that, then we need to use the Python list. Okay, now let's run this one. See, so first we got the bar chart. Now everything will be combined and then we got into a single output. Now, as a final step, as a third step, let's do one more thing. We will convert this vertical bar chart into a horizontal one. Okay, so for this one, what I will do is I will use a different config. Let me show that. So on the y-axis, I have detached the popularity. That means if you see here, right, in this one, on the y-axis, I have the popularity. Now what I am doing is I am removing this popularity from the y-axis and I am attaching it to the x-axis. Okay, so now let's see the final output of this demo. See, first we got this vertical one and now transformed to a single bar, and then now we got a horizontal bar chart. Pretty cool, right? It's a pretty cool, guys. I mean, when you're doing demos, right, people will be really impressed with these kind of animations. So if you look at here, right, it's a very straightforward code, and I really like this library. If you want to know more about ipyvizzu, please check out their documentation. I will be leaving the link in the description below. And if you have any questions about this ipyvizzu library, please mention in the comment section below, and I will try to answer you. Thanks for